Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How's everybody doing this fine Saturday, November 16th, 2024? Ryan, good to see you. Morning. Wayne, good to see you. Harrigan. Blake. Tad, morning. Shambot, morning. Nice, quaint, small, intimate gathering. What's the good word? So just as a side, some of you may or may not know, so I traveled this past week. I've probably traveled more in the last 2 months than I have in the last 10 years, which is not saying much, because I don't travel very often. So if I travel like twice, it's a lot. But I had the pleasure to ride in a self-driving car. The Waymo. If you don't know what a Waymo is, look it up. It's pretty insane. Just want to say, limited markets. This happened to be in Phoenix. I think they're in Phoenix and California. I don't know if they're in any other market. But it's crazy. It's like Uber on steroids, except without the person. It's, call a car, drives up. They get this little thing on the top that kind of changes color and flashes, turns, it turns on and off. And you could put like two initials, two letters in that. So if you're at the airport, and there's multiple Waymos, you can identify your car. So you could put in like SK and make it like a red background or pink or whatever. Crazy. It's crazy. Like, I don't know. When you get in it and it just drives, right turn on red, nose turn lanes. I ran into construction where like one lane was cut off, like no problem, navigated it just fine. If you get the opportunity to check it out, it's an experience, and it's cheaper than an Uber. So, has anybody had the pleasure of doing, like, taking a Waymo before? I know this isn't RPGs, but audio's a little low. Why is it a little low? Is it really? Is it low for anybody else other than Blake? I don't want Blake's headset to be down and then I'm like troubleshooting stuff. Dorcas, good to see ya. Nelson, good to see ya. There's Laramie. There he is right there, Wayne. Aaron, good to see ya. Yeah. Smashed it. He smashed the like button coming in. That's all right. Tripped and smashed it. Joe, good to see ya. From Yukon. Oh, I suppose it is Yukon, right? It used to conflict with GameholeCon when GameholeCon was in November. It's Yukon in the Michigan area. Anybody else there with Joe that don't realize that Joe's there? Yeah, they're all over San Francisco. Very cool. What's up, Phil? Maximum Overdrive. Phil is not necessarily pro technology. So was it unnerving as I'd imagine it would be? I didn't feel that way. But then again, I also took it at like 3 a.m, and there were very few cars on on the highway. I will say this, and I don't know if this is true in San Francisco, Tad, but in Phoenix, it doesn't go down the interstate or the highway. It's all streets, street travel. Because there's a colleague of mine said, I think if they go down the interstate, it messes with their reception. So they don't have them drive down the major interstate highway, I guess, for whatever reason. So I was hoping that it would have timed the lights better, but I think at 3 it's probably hard because it's probably all one thing I was concerned with was because I was going to the airport. One of the concerns I had was it would come to a red light, and if you don't inch forward enough, the light doesn't turn, like it doesn't sense that a car's there. So a couple times I'm sitting at a red light, like, hey, I got to get to the airport. Like, can we just go? And luckily the lights turned. Another thing that occurred to me too is I put my luggage in the trunk and I'm like, well, what if I can't open the trunk? Like it locks the trunk and I can't unlock it. But everything's cool. You get the app, and when you get the app, you should have Bluetooth on. I didn't have Bluetooth on, and it still worked, which was crazy. So you get up, and it pulls in, and how do I open the trunk? Well, on the app, open trunk. You hit a button on your app, and the trunk opens. You put your stuff in there, close the trunk, unlock the doors, and then you hit this, and then the door handles pop out so you can open them. They are Jaguar, or Jaguar, however you want to pronounce it, I-Paces. So my first time in a Jag as well. Good morning, Mr. White. Talking about the Waymo, self-driving car. It's crazy. RPG Cyberpunk Edition, indeed. Like, if you are running a Cyberpunk game and you're driving a car, what I don't understand. I mean, I guess that's the punk of it, right? Not low. Blake's just far away. Good to know. What's up, Mr. Hobbs' Gamerhood? Hobbs has lengthened his YouTube handle. I haven't seen the BS list. Ted says, my sister-in-law uses them all the time and has abandoned Uber unless she can't get a Waymo. Yeah. So just to give you context, I wanted to reserve a vehicle in case I couldn't get a Waymo, like it didn't show up on time or something, like I was out of range or something crazy. So I reserved an Uber. And it said, if you cancel within 60 minutes, there's a cancellation fee. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I booked the Uber, but a Waymo, like, you can't reserve. I couldn't find a way to reserve one in advance to show up at a particular time. So I get up and I get to the time where I'm like, I'm going to see if this Waymo will pick me up. And I do that, and it shows up. It's like, yep, it's on its way. I'm like, fantastic. So I have to cancel my Uber. If I kept my Uber, right, and took it to the airport, it would have cost me like $51, and that might have been before a tip. And this was at like 3 a.m, so the price was inflated because when I went to the hotel, it wasn't that much. And my Waymo cost me $27 to go from the hotel to the airport. And my cancellation fee for Uber was $25. So essentially it was the same cost after canceling an Uber. So I'm like, I'll eat the $25 for the experience. Evil Merlin, good to see you. Street driving only minimizes collateral damage when the driving AI becomes sentient. Well, it did. I entered the Waymo saying, I told Phil McClory this on Blue Sky on Twitter and said, hey, I bow down to our AI overlords. And then the Waymo told me that it would get me to my destination. Like said, I will get you to your destination, my son. And it did. Total Recall at least had a robot cab driver. Well, that's true. We all know how that ended up. What's up, CJ? Good to see you. Morning, William. Good to see you. The Waymo cars do need a Johnny Cab animatronic driver so that pedestrians have a driver to yell at. Well, that's hilarious. You yell at a car. Stupid car. All right, let's get into the question of the day. I know people don't want to talk about self-driving cars, but I thought it was an experience. I just wanted to share. This is one I came up with today. I don't know why. Not sure what spurred it. Some of us have been gaming for a while. Some of us not so much. It's all relative, right? If you were to go back and tell your, assuming younger self, what advice would you give that younger self? What advice would you give your younger self? That could be when you're basically just starting out in tabletop RPGs. So that's why it's kind of relative. Like you could have started 2 years ago. Your younger self is 2 years ago, but so younger doesn't have to apply necessarily. I mean, yes, you're younger by 2 years, but you're not younger by 30 years. if you just started gaming a couple years ago. So if you could give your younger self that just was starting out in tabletop RPGs, either game mastering or playing, what advice would you give yourself? Laramie says, advice, have fun with it. It's just a game. So you didn't know that going into it when you were younger, Laramie? iRobot, Will Smith's best movie had the whole scene about how driving the car himself was illegal. Isn't that interesting? Ryan West says, I tell little Ryan, you're here to have fun with your friends. Don't get hung up on the rules. So these are things you guys are living by now today, right? Like that's the mantra. Here we go. CJ says, rules are overrated. They are, aren't they, sometimes? I just love going to a convention game. All right, everybody, we're going to play some Deathmatch Island. Has anybody played Deathmatch Island? Nope. Does anybody know the rules or have looked over the game of Deathmatch Island? Nope. Alrighty then. Let's do this. Nubis, good to see you. Good afternoon. Good to see you, man. Nah, man. We took this stuff way too seriously. Yeah. Tim's advice to younger Tim would be play as many different RPGs as possible. So your younger self was visited by your current self. Like this has obviously happened to you, Tim. It's the time-space continuum. Time police are going to come and arrest other Tim. So I don't have a vanilla Coke because I was traveling this week and interrupted my Coke grocery shopping pickup time, so I'm resorting to Zoa, which will probably just give me rot gut. So hey, cheers. Larry says, am I living this way today? Ask anyone who's been at my table. I fudge a lot and nearly never open a book. Fair enough. Mr. Hobbs' Gamerhood says, Hobbs, hold on to the magic. Don't be so critical of yourself. Be more open to sharing your hobby because there's more people interested out there than you think. Love it. Love it. Aaron. A popular take, I think, but I'm happy with the journey of learning I had. I wouldn't say anything. Just stand creepily in the background in sunglasses and a trench coat. That's well, doing that to your younger self, I don't know how old you are, Aaron, but if you're doing that in the 80s, you could probably get away with it as long as you have a white van, I guess. Or as my wife and my father, I think I mentioned this on stream. It was a little off color, but they go out and they see a guy sitting in a waiting room at a hospital that says, show me the candy first. I'm no dummy. Or something like that. Show me the candy, then I'll get in the van. I'm not dumb. Canceled. Sean gets canceled today. That's the deal. Phil says, stop being an adversarial DM, and there's more than D&D out in the world. Blake says, same as Tim. Orcus Dorcas probably says, you will be known as Orcus Dorcas's RPG shenanigans. Just be prepared. That's probably the first thing he probably told him younger self. And then his younger self probably punched his older self. He says, don't get hung up running a published adventure beat for beat. The authors aren't watching you. Break it and rebuild it however you see fit. All right. Cheers, Blake. Phil, you could still tell yourself that now. How quickly we would forget. Tad says, don't stop playing after high school. I know you will keep buying game books, but make an effort to actually play. Matt, morning. Question of the day for those that have just arrived in the last couple minutes. I know it's going down on the bottom, but basically, what would you tell your younger self when just starting out in tabletop role-playing games? With the wisdom that you have over these years. Matt Stark says, don't be a douche canoe. Just have fun. Yeah, that's solid advice. I would have to say, though, it's probably, I would have to echo Tad. There's going to come a time where you're going to want to get out of the hobby for whatever reason. You're going to think other things are cooler. Try to stick with it, even if it's just playing, once a month or whatever. There's other people that play the game than just your home group that are still good and not, weirdos. Because I think there was a bit of a, I still think there's that piece, right? There's a lot of people in our hobby that still want to play with their friends and their home group, no matter what. They will go kicking and screaming out of that home group. And for those that still play with their home group, right, and have trudged through some challenges or changes or whatever, great, fantastic, good on you. But there are some that, it will remove them from the hobby when they have a conflict with their friends for whatever reason. Like, not even a conflict. Maybe it's just decimated, right? People get older, they don't want to play anymore, and the only people you wanted to play with was your friends. There's so many good people out there that, like, they will play a game and they won't be complete knuckleheads, weirdos, douche canoes, and you'll still have a good time and you'll meet new friends. Case in point, a lot of you in the chat, Harrigan's got a blog out there. I'll see if I can find the address and put it in the chat, but he just did a write-up, a 2-parter on GameholeCon, and kind of speaks to that directly. Like, it's just, home groups are great, but they don't have to be the be-all, end-all. They don't have to ruin, like, the demise of your home group doesn't mean it has to be the demise of you being in the tabletop RPG hobby and playing or running. Mr. White says, don't let mom give away your books. That's right. Do whatever in your power. What would you do, Mr. White? Hide your books? Whoops. I skipped over. Harrigan says, hey, young Harrigan, don't drive your too early players out of the GM seat with your obsessiveness and snideness. Harrigan is, he's more than one occasion mentioned the story of, like, kind of setting things straight as a younger person. Tim says, people don't quit gaming, people quit certain gamers. They do. Well, maybe. I don't know about that. I mean, yes, there are some for sure, but I also think, like, some people, like, if I can't play with my group, I'm done gaming, which is unfortunate. Orcus Dorcas says, also, don't date Terry in high school. She's going to keep you away from your group and shut down your gaming excursions for the next 2 years. In the end, it won't be worth it. Oh, I know some of those gamers. One was at Gamehole Con. He used to game with us, and I talked to him. He was part of the dot group, and he volunteers at Gamehole Con. And now real life adulting came into play, right? Like, you know, he and his wife were having a couple kids, so I totally understand. But it went from like gaming. I think he gamed with us every other week at least, or every week for a little while, and then it's done. So when I talked to him, I said, "So when's the last time you gamed?" And he's like, "It's been 8 years, 9 years." Who was with us. So I've been with the dot group for that long, at least. But you know, he said he says, I told my wife I'm thinking about gaming, and she didn't say anything. I was like, wow, well, that's good and promising. Ryan says Terry's the worst. Shambot says, I would tell young Shambot to never forget the sense of wonder that this hobby can inspire in others and yourself. That, and find someone who also loves the hobby. Salt Heart of Saltlandia. Good to see you. He says, not sure as a teen I would have listened to Orcus Dorcas RPG Shenanigans advice. I wouldn't trade my Terry XP for anything. Yeah, that's fair. And frankly, sometimes Terry just has a hold of you. Like, Rockbeard, good to see you. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. Rockbeard says, when people bail on your game night, don't take it so personally. Yeah, I could learn from that today. And I have learned from that. So, yeah, that's good. That's a good one. Caveat, and Shambot says, my wife does play the D&Ds. Nice. Nubis says, I've only been doing this for 5 years. Don't prep Storm King's Thunder. You'll never run it. Run for different players ASAP. Play online ASAP. Check out indie games. Join the Gaming and BS Discord. I appreciate it, my man. Thank you very much. Laramie says, yeah, to your point about the game groups, home game groups, I love my old home group, but it's morphed, added, dropped, changed. And it's not like home group only. I obviously hit the occasional con. Yeah. Holy cow. Terry must have been busy. Well, you don't know Terry? Orcus, my Terry didn't provide XP. She drained levels. Anyhow, enough therapy. Hey, Orcus. Hey, come on in. Have a seat. Lay down if you'd like. Let's talk about this. Because there's obviously some things, right? You sure you don't want to talk about that? Matt says, don't ever game with a separated divorced couple. It gets weird when she shows up with the new boyfriend. Whoa. That would be good advice to younger self. Like, couples, divorce, what? They're married and they're playing D&D? Roger, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Don't want to be that guy, but you need to make your mistakes and missteps in order to become the person you are now. So I don't know if I would change anything. That's fair. That's fair. It is true, right? Those knocks make us who we are. Besides, sometimes I think like, you know, I try to stay away from my buddies' personal relationships, right? If Jeff or my buddy Joe or somebody were in the dating scene and it was like a rough romance, if you will, I'm Switzerland. I don't know. Because what happens is when you start injecting yourself, like they'll crumble apart. And the minute you're like, yeah, you didn't, yeah, good on you. Then they come back together. Then you're like, whoa. So, my point is, I don't know if my younger self would even listen to my older self. That's the moral of that story. Regarding Cherry, there's a guy from the OG CheapCon group. I came in year 7. That when he writes CheapCon on the counter, she legit schedules things specifically so he can't go. Ouch. That's ouchy. Ouch, ouch. If he doesn't put it on the counter, she flips out because he didn't write it down. Brother can't win. Eesh. Yeah, well, it's compromise, right? Aaron says, I tell my younger self, you're never going to find those maps. Ricky probably threw them away. Just stop looking for them. Are you still looking for them? Oh, that's too funny. Oh, that's a good one. Damn it, Ricky. Hey, let's go get Ricky. Let's find Ricky, that bastard. Flint says, don't go on the internet and talk about your favorite edition of said TTRPG. Okay, that's a good piece of advice. Hobbs says, you should never talk to your younger self, even time traveling. Haven't you ever seen any time travel movies? It's true. It's true. Yeah. Ricky is for sure with Terry. Yeah. Ricky is for sure with Terry. He's a dick because he threw out the maps, and then he went to Terry, which we all know who Terry is. Ricky's probably married to Terry now. Well, that's obvious. Well, there's a plot thread that we could all get on board with, right? As game masters. Wayne says, I would tell young me that this hobby is the best. You're going to meet a lot of great folks. Do yourself a favor and listen more. Also, if folks are having fun with a bad game, it's just fine. Indeed. Welcome to the anti-Ricky Terry Power Hour with Sean and BS Slanders. For some new folks, because I don't know how if you've lurked in the past or if this is your first time showing up. Just an introduction. I'm Sean. I stream every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time here on this channel and talk about tabletop RPGs. And we'll get into a couple segments where I go over crowdfunding campaigns, print releases, anything, any buzz in the RPG hobby. It's pretty formulated. But this is kind of the warm-up question to get chat involved and everything. So prior to this, I was a co-host and producer of Gaming and BS RPG podcast. Was a weekly podcast for about 6.5 years, and then the last 6 months was every other week, so about 400 episodes total. It's still out there, gamingandbs.com. You can find it if you're interested. A lot of evergreen content, except for some of the write-ins and some of the crowdfunding campaigns we would talk about. But if you so desire, want to learn more, that was with myself, Sean, and Brett. So that's where the BS comes from. And then some of the folks in the chat are carryovers from listening to that show, and have met some of them face to face and interact with quite a few online. Many of us have played together virtually and in person. And so going from the Gaming and BS Discord, since the podcast, which is really defunct as of June 2022, it's really become the BS Landia Discord based around the community that has kind of developed from that podcast. So there you go. So thanks for joining. Thanks and welcome. We're don't yuck somebody else's yum. You can have opinions, but if somebody wants to play this game and it's not your jam, it's not your jam. It's okay. Now, if some of the folks in inside the chat are a little more vocal. It's probably because they know each other and know what buttons to push to each other. So don't take any offense if somebody says something, because it's probably in jest. At least some of it is. So. Andy Hall, good to see you, Andy. The Once and Future podcast? Yeah. If you tell your younger self. So there you go. So let's get into something, right? Let's start with, I have no bundles this week that I thought I would put out there that crossed my path. So no bundles. Sean has to warn people about some of us. Well, and it's, I got to say, here's the thing. What is really cool about some of the people in the chat and on our Discord is many people have their kind of go-to game and go-to system. We all have our strong preferences, and we also have games we just despise, like the mechanics. We just don't like them. It's not our jam, whatever. But we still communicate between each other and poke fun, like, oh, here's another game this person's going to love. You know why? Because it's D20, knowing that they don't like D20 type games. So, and then, of course, they roll their eyes, and it kind of goes from there. So we've got our resident experts. We have our old school fans. We've got our 2D20 fans. We've got Cypher fans. It's a mishmash, right? So if you come to the BS Landia Discord, that's what it is. It's not a 5e Discord. It's not a OSR Discord, which is what I think I appreciate about it. Zweefer, good to see you. Morning. So, I think he's talking about you and me. Yeah, those two guys. All right, so there you go. I don't have any bundles. Let's see. What do we got for RPG news? Let's do that for giggles here. All right, RPG news. And news, like I say, it's probably the weirdest kind of. Sometimes it's not, if it doesn't fall in print news, crowdfunding or whatever, then it's news, I guess. And that's not gonna work because I forgot to test where my browser is. So bear with me just a second. All right. There we go. Goodman Games, do you guys see this? The Goody Awards. Goodman Games, makers of publishers of X-Crawl Classics, Mutant Crawl Classics, Dungeon Crawl Classics, DCC, MCC. Give us your Goody Award nominations 2024. We should probably do this as a community. We should just find a good DCC, MCC person and nominate them. So here it is in a nutshell. We want you to email us nominations for the Goody Awards. Nominate your judge, a player at your table, peers, or even your favorite con. Drop us your nomination at info@goodman-games.com. I'll put this link in the chat, by the way. We want to know about the judges and fans who deserve special recognition. I could probably name a couple, but they probably work for Goodman Games. But what is the Goody Award? We're glad you asked. The Goody Award is our annual accolade to award members of our community for doing good overall in the TTRPG space. This award has been given to members of the community like judges, players, and others who've been nominating by others for doing a great service to the world at large or have gone that extra mile to help out the Goodman Game fan community. Goodman Games fan community. Past winners have been incredibly active judges, artists, and designers who have dazzled with their creativity, community volunteers bringing the fun of DCC to others, Twitch and YouTube personalities, indie publishers, college professors teaching students how to write adventures, hometown heroes, and even the man behind the wizard van. Check out the recipients of the 2023 Goody Award, which this is the first time I think I've heard of it, as far as I know. So there you go. Let me put this in the chat quick, and then we'll see what it was last year. Aaron Coleman was on there posthumously. Such a great guy. Such a great guy. Let's see. Okay, so product recognition, DCC Dying Earth, DCC 100, the music of the spheres is chaos. Love Mutants of Castle Heartache. That's product recognition. Goody Award nominees. A couple of judges, Shane Judge Kablooey, Matt Gullett, and Eddie Bartlett. Jason Daniel, Cyclops Con, it looks like. Richard Gould, Roll20 DCC PC Sheet Steward. Gilbert Isla. Gilbert is being recognized for the work Fantastic Weird Frontiers. Christian Ovsenik, Steve Barnett, and Greg Burchell, all nominated for their efforts to convert DCC to Foundry. Corey Welch, I know Corey. Jerry Stefik Memorial Crawl for the Cure that he runs. That's awesome. Eric Dahm works Gen Con. Nick Baran devotes a significant portion to his time promoting DCC. He's got a YouTube channel. Levi Combs. If you don't know Levi, know Levi from Planet X Games. Brian Shutter, played with him at Hobbs' Table at GameholeCon last year. Joey Royale's Pizza Party. Bruce Cunnington from the UK. No Bruce, he's awesome. From the UK Games Expo and running tons of DCC in the UK and beyond. He's been to GaryCon before. Ian Kelly, stackup.org. Well, there's a lot here. Okay. I'll give him recognition, right? Why not? Troy Tucker, big Troy Tucker has been an ambassador to DCC. Spencer Ellsworth, independently reaching out to regional conventions along the West Coast. Felipe Lepinard, his efforts to make DCC RPG available in French. So I probably pronounced his last name. It's probably Felipe Lepinard. I don't know. My French is no bueno. Devin Watkins, organizing a DCC club at his school. Daniel Bishop, longstanding figure in the DCC community. Recognized not just for writing the free RPG Day DCC RPG adventure, Piercing the Demon's Eye. Daniel might be up in Toronto area because he was taking time to run that adventure module at the FLGS in Toronto. Trevor Stamper and Ed Stanek provided incredible DCC third-party publisher community with their show, The Skivenary. Stefan Surratt. Stefan releases an amazing amount of high-quality DCC third-party content. He's half of the Raw Rules as Written show on Twitch. And then awards honorees, Ryan Moore for his support of DCC third-party games. Tim DeShane. Tim is honored in 2023 for raising the standards of excellence. Excuse me, for many contributions. Playtester. Tim Karowski. I got two names mixed up. Alex Karowski for running 20 side to every story. I think I know of Alex. Laws the iWizard is always posting homebrew created DCC crafts that make everyone jealous. Alex Cogan, an artist with a shed load of skills. Tom Coley, running off books games at Gen Con, GaryCon, and Gamehole. He's run games at DougCon. Lou Heffer for Gen Con, Ross Jackson. Making DCC games entertaining and encouraging diversity in DCC community. Jessica McDevitt for many years, so not officially when she was Brad's tag along back then. General public hasn't seen her much. Looks like she might have had some health issues. Aaron Creeder, jack of all trades. Can do maps, black and white illustrations, color covers. Jim Kitchen. Could be games honored Jim last year, but if a rule was meant to be broken, he'd break it. Goody Award medalists. What's the difference here? I think we're almost done here. Casey Coyle. Casey's a GM for 20 sides to every story. Mihalo Tesic. Extensively playtests many Goodman Games products. Also writes 5e and DCC content. Lisa Doyle. She's not part of the DCC, but has been crucial to the Goodman's Game team at Gen Con. Probably volunteers and does a lot of grunt work there. Corey Gassman. DM Kojo. I think they have Kojo's last name wrong, right? Is it? Road Cruise. What is it? Gosh, that I thought his name was spelled differently. Jim Myers does help with the Jerry Stefik Memorial Crawl for the Cure. Corey Kojo has been in DCC for a long time. He used to write into the show all the time and even call in. Christopher Willett. Contributions to both DCC RPG community at large and those impacted for the better by it. Teaches at high-risk school students during the day and uses a teaching background at night to create fresh and, dare we say, educational material for DCC. And then last, lastly was Aaron Coleman. Which passed away was it earlier this year, last year? So there you go, the goodies. Next up, Traveler Starter Pack. I didn't know where to put this. Promotions? Free stuff? I don't know. It's not a bundle. So if you're a traveler or traveler curious for Mongoose, here you go. It's PDF, obviously. But nonetheless, not to be, it's PDF. So what? Grab it. It's got, what has it got in here? Includes Traveler Explorers Edition. All cooler rules for Traveler are in this book, plus a universe creation system that allows referees to create new star systems on the fly. Death Station, an orbiting laboratory ship, has gone silent, and the Travelers are hired by a local company to find out what has happened. So a scenario, and then Stranded, a remastering of a classic Traveler adventure. So 2 adventures, Explorers Edition, in PDF, free. There you go. Check that out if you'd be so inclined. All right. That's all I had for RPG news. Let's see. I got a notice that Pathfinder 2E has a Happy Birthday remaster bundle. It does. Is that on Paizo's site? Happy Birthday Pathfinder 2E bundle. Oh, well, sure enough. Let's do, we'll just feature it quick. I have to say, Pathfinder is not short on bundles. This thing is probably a beast. 72 items. I think you pay I think it's asking for like $35. It's an $888 value. So this is pretty insane. All PDFs. It's on Humble Bundle. Pathfinder GM Core, Bestiary 2, Bestiary 3. Lots of, let's see, some scenarios. Pathfinder Society, obviously. Flip maps. Player Core book. Quest for the Frozen Flame arc. Character guide, ancestry guide. Look at this stuff. I mean, even if you don't like Pathfinder, the flip maps would be probably pretty good if you want to do virtual tabletop stuff for sure. There's like quite a few in here. GM screen, the beginner box, remastered edition. Jeez, this thing's a beast. So if you're interested, there you go. Thanks, Flint, for letting us know. And to Orcus Dorcas. It's a great pack. He's referring to the Traveler starter kit. If you don't dig Traveler after all that, then it's not for you, and you didn't have to spend a dime. Right. Map app bundle. Did I miss like a bunch of bundles? Is that it? Is there another one? Do they cross-promote on their own site? And you guys can't type it in the chat because it won't parse a URL. Map app RPG bundle. See if I can get it to come up. Hobbsy. Is it the 10,000 maps bundle? Worth it? That's not it, is it? It's also on Humble. Great. That's why I have you guys here. Is it the Maps Extravaganza? Oh, it's over. You guys sure? No, June 10th. This isn't the one. Is it this one? Virtual Tabletop Maps? I don't know, Sean. Why don't you bring it up and look? Nope, that one's over too. Campaign cartographer for first eye type stuff. That's... The Cartographer's Vault? That one isn't working. You guys, I know it's out there. I can't find it. Humble Bundle. Go back. Bundles, games. All bundles? What am I missing here? Pathfinder, Mutants and Masterminds we went over. TMNT, coding, fantasy, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. That's probably one we should... Did I highlight that one last time? I don't remember. Deck building. It's got to be in here. 7th Sea we mentioned last week. Dragon Age. That's comics. Software. What am I missing here? I don't know, guys. Under software. Well, okay. Software. Maps Extravaganza. I just went to that one of them. My apologies. You guys know more. Finally. There you go for everybody that needs the link. And it gets cut off. That's awesome. Can you guys just come on? Let me take out all the referrals out of there. So it fits in there. I think there. Thanks, guys. Maps Extravaganza Revisited 2024. Entire 12-item bundle. I got a question for you guys. Is Campaign Cartographer Mac, or is it just Windows? Anybody know? I don't happen to know and see offhand. Oh, it says install on Windows. Never mind. I answered my own question over here on the right-hand side. Fantastic. Well, hey, Mac users, Linux users, tough beans. What? Sean, you should be using Windows. It's like the best and that it runs everything anyway. So what are you doing on a Mac or Linux anyways? Run a real operating system, hey? So, thanks for the bundles. There's the bundles. There. That's all we got for bundles, as far as I know. Am I right? Hey, there's probably some out there. There's ones on drive-thru that I don't even touch. Drive-thru and Itch usually has tons of them. But anyways, some of the ones there I wanted to highlight. Let's get into print news. Print news. Print news. Star Trek Adventures, the role-playing game, 2nd edition, Starter set is available. It's on pre-order. Okay, it's not available. It seems like everything's on pre-order when I go to Modifius, but now it'll be fine. It's coming out. I think the core book is out now for 2nd edition, but the starter set, $30. Rules booklet, campaign booklet, ship sheet and character sheets, reference sheets, dice, tokens. Rules booklet, a 48-page booklet providing an overview of the 2D20 game system adopted for Star Trek Adventures for use with the included campaign. I am curious, once this comes out, if it will, like, could you take the rules booklet and run the game all the time? Like, I think many of Free League stuff, if you get the starter set, like in the rules booklet, like it covers all the rules, I believe. Right? Like if I use, like Alien, for example, I think that's all I need. Chops out all the fluff, everything. I could be wrong. Am I wrong? Sean, just install Windows Virtual Machine on your Mac and enjoy the best of both worlds. By best, I mean Windows, of course. Ugh. Ryan West, no. Why would I do that? Why? So I could blue screen my Mac? Or so I could blue screen my... Oh, you guys are going to get me riled up. So anyways, check it out. Check it out. Is anybody getting the Star Trek Adventures role-playing game, 2nd edition starter set? Anybody? Anyone? Anybody getting into 2nd edition Star Trek? Anyone? Does anybody have it? It's out, right? There it is. Core Rulebook, 2nd edition. What? Look at those core rulebooks. Yellow, blue, red. Must have them all. Ooh, those are nice. Harrigan, have STA 2E. Did you get just the regular book? The $65 book? 2nd edition core book? Or did you get one of the fancy ones? Don't lie. Might get starter eventually. Just write your own OS, noobs. The regular book. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. Is it better? Have you read it yet? I know Gabe has talked about it, but I don't know. Anyways. Dragonbane. Free League Publishing releases Path of Glory, first campaign expansion for Dragonbane. Free League Publishing has released Path of Glory, the first campaign expansion for Dragonbane. Do you feel like you've just heard that twice? The new release brings together 3 classic adventures from the original Swedish version of Dragonbane, also known as Drakar och Demonar, in a single updated volume. It's got The Dead Forest, Gates of Power, and Heart of Darkness, first published in 85 and 86. It's got revised with updated rules, new illustrations. It's in hardback book and a module for the Foundry Virtual Tabletop. You can get it on Free League's web shop in a PDF format on DrawThrough. Who got that? Who's got that? Wayne says, my suspicion of IP RPGs holds, so no. Good morning, Eileen. Good to see you. Have not read, but would be shocked if it's not better. Referring to Star Trek 2nd edition. Who got this? Where are my Dragonbane fans? Who got this? Anybody? Bueller? Anyone? Bueller? Anybody order it and it's on its way? Is everybody done playing Dragonbane? Let's go to Ian World's print news, see if they came up with something I overlooked. Wayne bought the Foundry module. Okay. Without the book. They're pretty good, though, those Foundry modules that Free League put out. It was Weefer. I never started. Fair. All right, print news from Ian World. First one, Battle Zoo Ancestries, Classic Creatures. For 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition, that's available now. I think it was maybe crowdfunded at one point in time. I don't know. Next one, Elevator Game. The Lost Bay, Diesel Service, Unit DH-17, Urban Horror. Moe's House of Meat. Compatible with the Lost Bay RPG. So the Lost Bay Quick Start. It's all 5th edition? Interesting. That's an interesting aesthetic for 5th edition games. Lost Bay is like any other place in the 1990s with a skate park, wild horses, arcade games, and of course ghosts. The PCs young and wild dwell here. They are touched by the weird. It's in their blood and grants them extraordinary powers. On a random weekday, PCs could defeat a servant of the Faceless God in a laundromat, acquire a new power by watching a cursed VHS tape, and feed fresh meat to their zombie cat. I wish they wouldn't have used 5e. All right. Well, there you go. Ziggurat of the Mega Maiden. One of the Ziggurat of the Megaton Maiden. The Mega Maiden. Blackest Night Edition by two old guys. For Mutant Crawl Classics RPG and or / DCC. Softcover Adventures. That's out in print. You want to grab it? Grim Hollow, Saga of the Seasons for 5e by Ghostfire Gaming, big 5e shop. Map Tiles, Cobalt Press. System, why Map Tiles? Like, Map Tiles, System, D&D 5th edition. Why does it just be System Agnostic? System Agnostic. System Any. Ugh. Whatever. Shield Maidens. Data Forge. Interesting. System Shield Maidens. I'm not familiar with that system. By Mongoose Publishing. This Data Forge provides information on the physiology, territory, culture, and fighting styles of some of Midgard's most diverse creatures. Interesting. There's a whole right up there. I won't review it verbatim. That's it for print news from Ian World. Boom. Check it. Check it. Wayne says we'll get the dead tree in FLGS. He's probably referring to the Dragonbane. See you, Shambot. Thanks for joining. Talk to you later. Wait, the Lost Bay isn't 5e? Isn't 5e? What's this? I don't know, man. It's not 5e? Did they probably put in it could be a typo. Because the Lost Bay is like, Lost Bay is its own thing, right? One of these is the Quick Start. It says D&D 5th edition right there. I'm only reading what is printed because I'm a robot. I'm AI. As Tim would say, someone convert all this to mothership system real quick. Thanks. Nubis says it's its own system made by Eco, the French dude that does YouTube interviews with indie TTRPG devs. They've got it messed up on them. Maybe Ian World's just so used to putting D&D 5th edition in every new product. Yeah, I know all these zines. One of my friends writes for it. It's a typo for sure. Fair enough. Typo. We would like to... We at RPG Sean would like to issue a correction on behalf of Ian World and the in regards to the Lost Bay Studio and say that it is not done for the 5th edition D&D game and is its own system. Thank you. And we're sorry. Sean the OG deepfake. Indeed. Already talked about World of Game Design Hubbub. You missed it last week, Hobbs. I didn't go into much detail about it. Is it finally made its rounds? Because last week it was quiet. I mean, it was out there, but it wasn't out there. Like I read the Rascal article and brought it up. Basically, fuzzy accounting and not paying people and, you know, I don't know. It'll be interesting if they're even around at the next couple cons. Who knows? So that was print news. That was print news, okay. Okay, print news. Let's get into crowdfunding, should we? Crowdfunding. Somebody put this in the Discord. I don't have names. Thanks for everybody that contributes to the Discord and promotions and things of that nature. Sometimes I mind those, so apologize for not giving credit where credit is due. But hey, it's on the internet. 2025 Fantasy Art Calendar by Owen Stevens. I imagine this is Owen K.C. Stevens. With help from Stan. So if you don't know Stan, he's been around for ages. Does illustrations. Actually, Stan did some work to help benefit Owen Stevens because Owen was sick for a while. And so Stan put together some campaigns and bundles to raise money to help Owen. So these two are longtime colleagues in the RPG space. And so this one I think is still going, right? Can I pledge? I can't pledge, right? It's done, over, right? $5K of a $500 goal. I don't know if you can get this after the fact, but I figured I'd put it out there. I'm pretty sure it's done. But anyways, wanted to bring up, maybe you can get it out later. Eileen says, Owen is still physically and financially recovering from cancer, so I threw a few bucks in as a late pledge. Oh, you can do late pledge. Okay, good to know. I can't, where can I not? Can I don't know where I can. You check it out, okay? Good to know. Next one from Rascal. New print magazine for fans of classic RPGs. You know, hitch is it's in the UK, so I don't know if they'll ship to the US. Print journalism is dead. Well, that's what a million think pieces over the last couple of decades have said anyway. This piece is by Thomas Manuel. But it seems like as far as tabletop gaming magazines are concerned, death is just another obstacle to overcome. Joining the wonderful Weird Science and Senate, there's a new magazine sitting down at the table and rolling the dice. Secret Passages. It's a new UK-based 64-page quarterly zine for fans of classic RPGs and old hammer. Is that a thing? Old hammer? Is that like a term I'm not familiar with? First issue is crowdfunding now, so it's coming. With glossy stories on the nostalgia of Advanced Hero Quest, the Secret Service raid on Steve Jackson Games in 1990, the horniness of the first Warhammer novel, and more. Yes, I did say horniness. That's what it says. And then there's an interview with the editor, James Hoare, over email about why he would do such a thing in 2024. So I don't know if you guys will be able to see this article. It might be behind their paywall. But anyways, I'll put in the link to the crowdfunding campaign. And then let's go to Ian World. Crowdfunding news at Ian World. So these are ones that are in the last few days of its campaign. So some of these we might have went over before they were even launched. So Vaesen, it's the last end of days for Vaesen. 4 million kroner of 250,000 kroner. So that's funded. Darkest Woods by Monty Cook Games. Monty usually crushes crowdfunding campaigns. He's on BackerKit too. He's like a big backer. They got an arrangement with BackerKit. So 222,000 for Monty and the gang. I mean, just think of it. That's 200,000 and 1,500 backers. Like, it's not 5,000 backers. It's not 10,000 backers. Just interesting numbers, folks. The most popular pledge is $189 on that Monty Cook campaign. Smurfs, Salt Heart, if he's still in the chat, was involved in the construction of this game from Maestro Media. I think they interviewed the person behind this too, like the main core publisher mind before behind the Smurfs. I think they interviewed him. Is it on Rascal? It's out there somewhere, folks. So this is ending Saturday, November 23rd. Original system, $119,000 of 10K. So there you go. Buy the Smurfs. Full disclosure, I've kicked in for the Smurfs. I think for a PDF version. It's got 6 days to go. Thunder Road Vendetta RPG. Powered by Polymorph, core rulebook. I should really try Polymorph system just to say I've done it. 77K of 15 by 9th level games. That's going to end in 5 days. 5 Evil, Fiendish 5e Horror. It's a less a version of 5e. 5 Evil is a rule set about 5e, making use of its subversion to defy expectations and intensify the horror. 16 quid for the PDF book from the creators behind Beowulf Age of Heroes and A-State 2nd edition. Funded. Old School RPG Zine, Delver, and Runes. Designed for use with Shadowdark. $5K, a $2K goal. I'm kind of curious here. I want to check this. Is it going to go to their campaign? It does. 202. Yeah, like 202 backers. Like, so small. Final Girl Rising by Drowning Moon Studios, PBTA. If you're a fan of horror movie tropes, if so, the game offers stories of final girls, the last girl standing in a slasher movie. 4K of a 10K goal. Ooh, that is going to come up short. Era of the Consortium, 10th anniversary. Play any sci-fi genre from Shades of Vengeance. Era D10. Has anybody played the Era D10 system? Or heard of it? 50 quid for 19 PDFs. 10 years later, an Era the Consortium is still going. Wow, so it's been around for 10 years. Set in a galaxy-spanning universe, this game moves between dystopian, cyberpunk, and space opera as you work of the corporations. For the corporations in space. Some planets are paradise, some are hell. All are open to trade, espionage, and war. Using D10 dice pools, you'll pilot ships, travel to far worlds, and solve mysteries. Core rulebook is 420 pages. What? Meaning a life. Times 10. Plus, there's a pocket edition that cuts the game down to a core 70 pages. Well, that's nice. Just eked out of funding there. 10 years later, just made 3,000 quid. Oh, the dynamics of the RPG hobby, right? Looks like a cool cover. Yeah. That's it, though, right? That's it. So no Ian Publishing at the end, which means they're probably filling some of their past crowdfunding campaigns. Yay, Darkest Woods. Money and crew are doing an AMA on the Cypher Unlimited Discord for it, if anyone is curious. See you, Anubis. Or shall I say, have a good evening. There you go. Smurfing some new spells, indeed. Got the board game for Vendetta, but not the RPG. Not sure. Fair enough. I missed my chance to say Les Schtroumpfs. Is that Aubrey Plaza in the cover? I think maybe. It's funny. You're so funny. Are you talking about that? Maybe. Maybe. Oosh. Oosh. Quick rundown. I didn't want to do it during the question of the day because it gets sidetracked. What's everybody playing right now? What's everybody playing? We got to do every once in a while. I got to do a quarterly. What's everybody playing? Because sometimes you guys switch gears, or maybe it's still going. What are you playing right now? What are you playing? What games? Harrigan, I know you're gonna have to list like 20, but you know, I'll go first. Playing the One Ring Second Edition. Probably gonna wrap up in the next session or two, I'm guessing. And then we're gonna go to Outcast Silver Raiders. I have Delta Green game. I should be wrapping up tomorrow. Maybe one more session after that. I'm hoping to wrap it up tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. And then my buddy Joe still running Castles and Crusades. I think we're playing this month. I don't know. I think it's a one-shot. So we're not even going to play the same campaign that we, I think, last played 2 months ago. Cringe. And then I don't know what I'm going to run or play. Coriolis, Dark Horizons, maybe. By M. Gurley's trying to get a game together. We'll see if that works out with my alternate Thursday weeks. I don't know. So Ryan says, I haven't played anything for weeks. Last thing I played was DCC. Fair enough. Peter, good to see you. Thanks for joining. Peter's playing Mothership. It's outstanding. Whoa. Everybody's going. Aaron's Twilight 2000, The Black Madonna. Nice. You're also playing Mouse Herder. Oh, interesting. Cool. Flint, playing Shadowdark live, simulcast on my channel. But I'm looking for a Mothership or DCC one-shot game to play. Oh, interesting. Roger, running my weekly basic fantasy campaign tomorrow. Nice. Low fantasy gaming and Hyperborea. See, these are all the flavors. Look at all the flavors and seasonings, right? It's good stuff. Harrigan, playing the One Ring, Delta Green, and Dune. About to run Outcast Silver Raiders. That sounds familiar. Peter's Monster of the Week. So Peter's playing 3 games. Nice. Tad says, just traveled with the home group, Ultraviolet Grasslands. The game is on hiatus for a bit. Reading Aid. Ooh, playing Impossible Landscapes. Reading Aid. Without any details, where are you in Impossible Landscapes? You're playing, where are you? Like, where's your player character, right, currently? I just want to know. Oh, such a great campaign. Orcus Dorcas, playing Isle of Dread with OSE, Twilight 2000 with GURPS. What? Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Enemy Within, God's Teeth, Delta Green, Traveler, which version, Classic or Mongoose, and playtesting the sequel to Viral with Bud's RPG review. That guy. Also, Tim, you're probably going to have an abbreviated list too, I'm guessing. Laramie says CNC Demon Plague continues VTT 20-some 3-hour sessions in. Got it. Wayne, GM and Dragonbane playing Beyond the Wall, and the One Ring, and Cyborg. Very good. Laramie's also Prep a Cheap Con. Nice. Nelson says, Alien, playing a character that's based on Aubrey Plaza. Aubrey Plaza or her character from The Office? But I can't hold the character. I can get into the mystery and drop out of character. Fun, though. Hobbs is an Oak Traveler. Shut up. Are you serious? Orcus Dorcas running Mask of Nyarlathotep and Cyberpunk. Oh, I read that as I'm running Mask of Nyarlathotep and Cyberpunk. You are obviously not. You do have a job? Do you have like family? Do you do like what's your secret, Orcus? Running Dragon Star and Savage Worlds. We just finished up Dorchester House. Ah, our handler says we are smack dab right in the middle of the campaign. Are you? You finished up Dorchester? Does anybody really finish up Dorchester House? Harrigan continues. Play by post, plain OSE, ICRPG Warp Shell, Mouse Ritter, Mythic Bastion Land, Black Sword, Hack, Swords and Wizardry, and The Walking Dead. Guy's an animal. Peter says, those are games I'm running. I'm in a Traveler game as a player. Well, that's good. That's good money there. Never watched The Office, but she was great in Legion. more PB play-by-post, running Barbarians of Lemuria, DCC, Eldritch Hack. Yeah, that guy's a writing fiend. Mr. White 20, playing COC Mask, MO Mothership, Desert Moon of Karth, and OSE. And Delta Green, right? You're still there, right? GURPS did Cthulhu Punk. It could work. Yeah, that's true. Brandon says, I've got D&D and D&D. Nelson, play-by-post, playing Delta Green Night Floors. What? Oh, I missed that one. Running The Last of Us, using Walking Dead, and running Mothership. That's good money there. That's all fantastic. All those different games. Look at all those people's lives we're supporting with our disposable income. Maybe not so disposable. There you go. Mr. White, late edition. Yes, Delta Green. Apparently not front of mind. I laugh because he's in my Delta Green game. Alrighty. Well, thanks everybody for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys really bring this thing alive. I want to thank all these fine folks for providing a few shekels each and every month on my Patreon. You can find the Patreon down below if you're interested in contributing. That's great, but not necessary. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And yeah. So, yeah, go hit like, everybody. I forgot to even bring that up during the stream. Like, subscribe. Thank you very much. I would really appreciate that. After all, it's kind of free. Kind of. I mean, if you like giving your data to Google, it's kind of free. I mean, you don't have to give me money for this. So maybe just a thumbs up would help. So that's groveling. Like, I'm groveling. So I figure why not? So have a good weekend if you find this on the weekend, or a good rest of your day whenever you find this after it's live streamed. Play some games, spend some time, with yourself, and spend time with good people if you need to, if you want to. Disposable income, Roger. I see this hobby as an investment in a life insurance policy. At least that's what I tell the wife. I like the cut of your jib, Roger. I will be here again next Saturday. Got to make sure holiday seasons are coming up in the U.S. here. But I should be here next week, Saturday, same time, same bat channel. And remember, be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby, and we'll check on the next one. See ya.